Hey guys, welcome back to Session 8 of Introduction to Linux OS. My name is Kevin Downs. I'll be your instructor today as always. So today we're going to be going over file processing utilities. Last session we went over multitasking, scheduled execution and usage of cron jobs, and we also went over the at and batch commands. Today we're going to be going over examining and comparing files, reporting differences between files, comparing files of any format, displaying data in octal and hex, and compressing data. Let's start off with examining and comparing files. There are several comparison tools that you can use on Linux. We shall look at some of them best terminal-based and GUI tools you can take advantage while writing code or other text files. We'll look at diff command. There's also the color diff command, wdiff. There's ls-alh command. Now remember guys, this is the ls command with the flags ALH. A stands for all, so show hidden files. L is a long listing, and H is human readable format. We also have LL, which is a shortened version of ls-l. And then we have the du command, which shows the disk usage. So we're going to take a look at the diff command only. Diff is a free, powerful file and directory comparator and merge tool that runs on the Unix operating systems such as Linux, Solaris, HP UX, IRIX or IRIX, DEC-True64. One limitation of diff is its lack of support for Unicode files and inline editing of diff files. So before we move on, let's go ahead and look at that diff command. So I went ahead and made some files already. You'll see diff1 here and diff2, diff1, or diff2 and diff1. So let's go ahead and check out what's in those files. So we see we have line 1, 2, and 3, and then in file diff2, we have line 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so let's go and run the diff command. So diff space the first file you want to compare, diff1, and the second file you want to compare, diff2. We see we get some output here. Okay, so what this means is on line 3 we need to add a fourth line, or after line 3 we need to add a fourth line for it to be the same as the second file. Okay, now at first it seems like that's not very helpful, but when we're running code that's actually going to be very useful. It's going to tell us in this first file something is different after that third line. Okay, we need to add a line to make it the same. So if I had a very long script or long file of code in both files and it tells me after line 3 you need to add a fourth line to make it the same as this second file, that'd be very helpful. I could go to my first file, look at line 3, go to my second file, look at line 4 and see what the difference is and be able to make them similar. Okay, this is helpful for debugging or troubleshooting when writing code. Let's go back to our PowerPoint here. Let's look at another tool. So the second tool we have is the CMP or compare tool. The compare utility compares two files of any type and writes the results to the standard output. By default, compare is silent if the files are the same. If they differ, the byte and line number at which the first difference occurred is reported. The optional arguments skip1 and skip2 are the byte offsets from the beginning of file 1 and file 2 respectively, where the comparison will begin. So let's check out that. We're going to use those same files again. Let me clear my screen. So I'm going to do CMP space first file we want to compare, which is diff1, and the second file we want to compare, diff2. I'm going to hit enter. It's going to give us some output. So you'll see end of file EOF on diff1 after byte 21 line 3. So this is telling me at the end of file 1, which is diff1, after byte 21 in line 3 that there's a difference. Okay, so this is a little bit more specific, and I can actually hone in a little bit more using this compare utility. Alright, let's head back to our PowerPoint. So we're going to look at how to display data in octal and hex and decimal format here next. So the OD command in Linux is used to output the contents of a file in different formats, with the octal format being the default. This command is especially useful when debugging Linux scripts for unwanted changes or characters. So first we have the octal format, which will be OD space -b and then file.txt, or the file we want to do. Let's check that out. So we have OD -b, and then we're going to use that diff file again, diff1, and you'll see it displays it in octal format here. Okay. Next, we'll look at how to display it in hexadecimal format. So we have OD-AX, OD-AO, OD-AD. Okay. Let's go ahead and check those out here. One sec. Oops. There we go. Okay. So we're going to do OD dash capital AX, and we're going to use that diff1 file again. So you'll see it's there in hexadecimal format. We'll also do dash AO and dash AD. So you'll see slight differences here in this first column. These are all in hexadecimal format here. Last format we're going to look at is decimal format. This will be OD-capital I. So let's go ahead and check that out. So we have OD-I, capital I, in diff1 file again. And you'll see there, this is going to be in decimal format now. Alright, let's head back to our PowerPoint. So up next, we're going to look at compressing data using the tar command. The tar command is primarily used to bundle the required files or directories into an archive. Depending on the option used, we can also use the tar command to extract or list the contents of a tar archive. The syntax for using the tar command for archiving and compressing files is as follows. So we have tar dash cxtf and then the file and then the pattern. Okay. So I want you guys to go ahead and write what I'm about to say down. Okay, I'm going to tell you the flags for the tar command, the most commonly used ones. So I want you to write them down. First one is going to be C here, which is listed. This is for create. Next is X. X stands for extract. Next one's going to be verbose, which isn't listed here. Verbose means it's going to show the progress of the archive file. Okay. F, which we do have listed here, is file name, so it's going to let you name that tar file name. And we have T that's also listed here. This is viewing content of the archive file. And then we have Z, which is a way to filter through archive through gzip. We have J, which is filter archive through bzip. Okay. So one more time, guys, go ahead and make sure you got these written down. C is create an archive file. X is extract an archive file. V, which isn't listed here. V stands for show the progress of the archive file, or verbose. F, which is listed here, stands for file name of archive. That lets you name the tar file name. T is to view the contents of an archive file name. So you can run T without actually extracting it and just see what's in it. J will filter archive through bzip, too. And then Z will filter archive through gzip. Okay. And then speaking of gzip, we have gzip and gunzip. So in order to compress files to save memory space, we use the gzip command. In order to uncompress the files, we use the gunzip command. The format for using the command is as follows. So we do gzip or gunzip and then the file. So guys, if you've ever used Windows or Microsoft, this is very similar to zipping a file. Okay. Let's go ahead and check that out on our virtual box here. So I'm going to do an ls just so you can see what we have. I'm going to tar that diff1 file. So I'll do tar dash create verbose because I want to see it as it does it. Okay. I'm going to run it through gzip, so I'm going to do z. Okay. I'm going to run it through gzip. I'm going to do f because I want to name the file. So file name. Okay. And so first, you're going to name the file what it's going to be named to. So we're going to do diff1.tar. You always put .tar. And since we're running it through gzip, I'm going to put .gz. So this is the common nomenclature for naming. When someone sees this, they're going to know this is a tar file and that's being run through gzip. If I were to have ran it through bzip, and remember that was J, I would actually name this bz. bz. Okay. But I'm going to keep it as gzip, because that's the most common way to do it. Okay. And then next, I would be telling it what to extract. Okay, so I'm going to do /, I'm going to say diff1. Okay. So what this means is here, so in this current directory in diff1. So I'm telling it to tar the diff1 file. So I'm going to hit enter. And you're going to see it went ahead and zipped that diff1 file. Okay, I'll do an ls. And now we see that tar file there. Okay. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to remove that diff1 file. And if that were an important file, I'd be like, oh no, you know, I lost my file. But luckily, I have a backup of here, and I can extract it to this current directory. Okay, so I'm going to do tar extract, so -x, verbose because I want to see it as it does it. Okay, I'm going to put z because it's a gzip file. Okay, and then I'm going to put the file diff.tar.gz, and I'm going to tell it where I want to extract it. I want to extract it to here, so /, which means here, this current directory. Okay, so I need to add the F option. There we go. Okay, so I do ls, and voila, I got my diff1 file back. So that's how you untar a file, so the -xvfz, and then how we tar a file, tar-cvzf, okay? Let's go back to our PowerPoint. Actually, before we do that, let me show you gzip as well. Gzip is actually a little bit more simple. Let me clear my screen, get some space back. Gzip's a little bit more simple, so I'm going to do an ls so you can see the file. So I'm going to do gzip diff1. That's going to gzip that file for me. Do ls, and you'll see diff1.gz. So obviously that's much simpler, guys. You know, you can certainly do that if you'd like to do that. And then unzip that file, gunzip diff1.gz. I want to unzip that file. And you'll see there, well, actually let me remove it first just so I can show you it is actually unzipping it. So I'm going to do ls, you see diff1's gone, do gunzip diff. Oh, that's all right. I need to gzip it again. Well, too late. I actually deleted it. So what I need to do, let me clear my screen. Let me do an ls so you guys can follow along where I'm at. So what I need to do now, I'm going to do it on diff2. So I'm going to zip diff2. Okay. So now you see I have a diff2.gz. Now I'm going to unzip that file. So you can see here there's no diff2 file. I'm going to unzip it. And you'll see there now I have my diff2 file back. Okay, so obviously gzip and gunzip is much simpler. So in summary, guys, we examined and compared files. We reported differences between files using diff and compare. We also compared files of any format, and we displayed the data of files in octal, hex, and decimal. We compressed data using gzip and tar, and we converted file formats. Next session, we're going to go over backup media, Unix device names, tar and CPIO, file transport and conversion with DD. Guys, please follow these links if you're needing a little bit extra help in our sessions, you're not quite understanding things. These links will take you to private tutoring sessions for system administrators. There you'll see weekly and monthly plans, and you'll also see private tutoring sessions for Linux and Bash scripting. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you in session 9. I hope you had fun, and I hope you're learning a lot.